Hi everyone, Mark Dorsey here. Just going to give you a quick walkthrough of my online course. I know you guys have, I think you've seen some already, but it's always good to see a bunch of them. I think the more you see, the better you can get a feel for what other people are doing and find what suits your own personality a little bit. So this is my virtual communication class. I'm actually not doing this class online right now, but I still have the old developmental shell, so I'll walk you through what I did back then. I hope to be teaching online again in a future semester, but just didn't work out this past semester. So right here, actually, I'll show you the faculty information section first. You guys are all probably familiar with the announcement section, so that's pretty standard. This is my faculty information section here. I've told them a little bit about my education, my qualifications, told them a little bit about my personal life and things that I find interesting. And then just said that I'm looking forward to getting to know them. I used to have a much less colorful and much less information on the faculty information page, but I think that students appreciate, especially in an online environment, when they have a little bit of a sense of the personality of the person because they don't get that in a face-to-face environment. I think the faculty information section is a good place to do that in. I also have an infographic here just to add a little color and a little bit more detail, some facts about me that people might find interesting. I often get students that'll make a comment either through email or if I run into them in person about something that I wrote on there. So I think it's a good way to connect with students. My about course section, pretty straightforward as well. I tried to chunk the information like Amy's taught and Amy and Anthony have taught, and give a little bit of color. So I have my course syllabus here with a funny little cartoon about making sure you read the syllabus, the addendum, course outline, textbook with a picture so that they can visually see it, some information about are you ready for an online course. I got that from another faculty member who was kind enough to share that. Some communicating in this course tips for people, just a reminder about proper email etiquette. I think that's a good reminder for a lot of students. Some frequently asked questions. Some of this might look familiar from the template because it was a template that was used when I went through CTEL. And then instructor and student responsibilities and a startup checklist for students. So pretty straightforward stuff there, but just trying to make it colorful, trying to add a little bit of personality to it, I think can go a long way. In terms of my weekly learning section, the computer will work with me here. I'll go and I'll show you one of the weeks. So I usually put the weekly folders in here just as a way of organizing the information. Everybody has a different way that they like to do it. One piece of advice is when you put this into your developmental shell, to turn off the availability, because then when you go and upload it into a live shell, you don't have to then go in and turn off everything. If everything is turned off in the developmental shell, when you put it into the live shell, it'll be turned off as well, so you won't need to go scrambling around to turn everything off. That's just something that I kind of learned the hard way, so just a suggestion there. So if I take you into one of these, I basically have it set up the way that the old Ontario Learn checklist had it ask for it to be set up. So I would have an introduction. I treated it similar to an introduction that I'd have in a face-to-face class. So just reminding people about assignments, sort of setting up what we're going to be doing this week, that type of thing. I have learning objectives here. I have a PowerPoint presentation. A PowerPoint presentation really optimized for an online environment. I do think that it is a good way, a good combination of visuals and text. So it is a good way to deliver information oftentimes. But just making sure that you understand that students, there needs to be a lot more writing in the PowerPoints than I would typically have, just to sort of fill in the gaps that I can't otherwise fill in. I have required readings and other readings outside of the textbook that students can go to with clickable links. Always making sure that I ask leading questions about those readings and indicate that stuff is going to be on the test, just to encourage them to read it so that they have some motivation there. Infographics are a great thing that you can either make on your own, or there's lots of them that you can find out there. This is one that I found that I thought was really helpful for students about writing for the web. So an infographic can really help separate some of the information and add a visual punch to it. I've got a video in here as well, and I've said it for this particular one. Bonus marks are awarded on your discussion post if you make reference to one of the lessons you learned in the video, and a lot of students took advantage of that opportunity, really showed who watched the video and who didn't, so that was valuable. I found a thing link here as well, so you guys may have been taught about the thing link, but just a way to take an image and add some content to it. And this isn't one that I made up. This is one that I found valuable that somebody else had already made up. So that's another trick to the trade, is lots of times people make some stuff that's fairly useful for you. So that can be something that you can use to your advantage. A graded discussion. I think that anytime you're going to ask somebody to do something in an online environment, really it should be tied to grading at some point. It's hard to say that, but it's true. So a graded discussion worth 5%, where I give pretty detailed instructions about what they're supposed to do, and then just a summary, which is kind of like the end of class, just a reminder of what we did today, a reminder of everything that's due, and sort of looking forward to what the content is the next week. So that's just a real basic run through of my course, and I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, I'm back. I forgot. I have something else I want to say. I have a top tip for you, something that I utilize that can save you potentially a lot of time. So for those of you who have smartphones or can at least borrow one from CTEL, there are a lot of great apps out there which are voice to text. So for instance, one that I use is Dragon Naturally Speaking. It's the green one up there in the corner. So it's Dragon Naturally Speaking. Some of you guys may have used it in the past, but it's very easy to use. Once you download the app, it just looks like that. I'm just going to tap and dictate. I have found that this saves me a ton of time for giving feedback. I can just click on here and say, thank you for the email assignment. It was great to get to know a little bit about your interests in the program that you're in, and also some of your personal interests, period. You're very right that communication is an extremely important skill set to have as a student, ... And then I can stop it whenever I want, and it will give me those words right there. A beautiful thing. I can put a space between it, do another student, just do them all, and then email it to myself. And then I can copy and paste it from the email into Blackboard. And I've just found that that's something that's saved me a ton of time with giving feedback, because it can be very time consuming, and our lips can move a lot faster than most people's fingers can. That might not be true for everybody, but for most people it is. Anyways, I hope you found that tip helpful. I hope you're enjoying your time with CTEL. You're in great hands with Amy and Anthony, and I'm sure you're all creating awesome content. So good luck and have fun with it.